tell you guys about one of the scariest dates I've been on. Leading up to this date, he was saying like, oh, it's like one of the coolest places in town. Like everyone loves it here. It's really popular. There was like a slight incident here, but it's okay. Like I think they fixed it. And I was like, what the fuck? Where are you taking me? I was just told that it's really fancy and you need to dress up. So I did that. Okay. Also, I'm not lactating. It's an oil stain. I'm really upset about it because this is one of my favorite shirts. I get all dressed up. We're in the car on our way to this mysterious date and we get there. There's an elevator and I'm like, where are we going? We get in the elevator and it doesn't stop going up. And at this point we're on floor 70 and I'm literally about to vomit. And he's like, oh yeah, this is the tallest restaurant in the world. Or said something like that. That's all I heard. I don't know if it was in the state, in the world, in the country. One of the tallest restaurants ever. And I'm like, you know, one of my biggest fears is heights, right? So I can't even look down at this point. And I'm like, holy fuck, I'm sick to my stomach. I don't know how I'm gonna even eat right now. We get out of the elevator. I'm immediately like having vertigo. Like we are at the top. It felt like at the top of the fucking Eiffel Tower times 10. You guys don't understand how tall this restaurant was. We walk to our table and I see these like tracks in the restaurant, okay? And I'm like, do not tell me this thing is revolving. He goes, it was a revolving restaurant. So you're telling me we would be spinning too? He said it was a revolving restaurant, but some kid got his head stuck in it and it decapitated him. So great, now we're eating with ghosts. We get to our table and I'm looking to my left. What do I see? Me plummeting to my death because our view is beautiful. It was so beautiful, but not for me. Like, I'd rather look at the ocean from like 2 stories up, maybe. Not the top of a fucking skyscraper. So I'm sitting there like trying to eat my food and I was so sick to my stomach. I'm also allergic to alcohol. I am just such a fun date, you guys. And I ordered a virgin mojito and they did not make it virgin. So I immediately felt sick. I went to the bathroom to like breathe for a second because it was the only room in the freaking building that like didn't have a view of everything. I ordered pad thai. It was also horrible. One of the worst dates I've been on. Thanks so much for that.
Good morning, cousins. Pick up the phone. Pick up the goddamn phone. I got some tea and it's piping. Okay? Piping. Okay, so y'all know I live in the hood. I live in the ghetto. We already established that. That's fine. So, you know, me and my other neighbor across from me, we nosy. Okay? We nosy. So we be... it's some shit, but her apartment is in the front, mine is in the back. So she be getting all the tea first, and then she come tell me this morning's tea. So we got another neighbor, and she's an older woman, not the one who I be getting into it with, but this is another lady. She's an older woman or whatever, but it's not really her apartment. But I just found this shit out. It's not her apartment. It's the nigga she fuck with apartment, right? And I have been, you know, I be seeing her in passing. I be out letting dog out. She be letting her little dog out. So we be having conversations. So, we neighbors. We be talking and shit. So she has already put me on. Like, she's already, like, late 50s. She's in her late 50s, whatever. The man that she's with now, he's way younger than her. He's in his 30s. Like, he's, like, my age or whatever. Which is fine. That's fine. Because, honey, TT's fine. She fine. She got her motherfucking body there. She look good. Okay, she looked good, okay? But anyway, so that's her boyfriend or whatever. But she has told me, when we be sitting out on the porch and talking and shit, she done told me or whatever, she's still legally married to her husband. They've been married for like 30 years or whatever. And they have kids. Like I said, she's an older woman. Her kids is all like my age and older, like 30s. Just in their 30s or whatever. She's still legally married to her husband. And she did tell me, you know what I'm saying? Like, she fuck with the young nigga now. She living over here with the young nigga now because her and her husband, I don't know what the fuck they had going on, but they thought they was going to get a divorce. They never got no divorce, so now they just separated. But she still be going to his house. And she still be, you know what I'm saying, letting him take her down. You know what I'm saying? Letting it do what it do. Which, I ain't mad at, honey. You way growner than me. You're way growner than me. You are way growner than me. But I guess the niggas didn't know. Honey, she was pulling her biggest one. And the niggas didn't know this morning, her husband came over and because I guess he wanted to know where the fuck she be going at, where she living at, what she doing. He done popped his ass up over here. And when I say he popped his ass up over here, found out which apartment she was in and kicked that motherfucking door in. Kicked that motherfucking door in to see what the fuck was going on. And obviously she in there with the young nigga. But the young nigga was cool. He was cool on some type of shit. So, like I said, it was this morning. So I'm getting the kids and shit ready for school. And I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck is all that fucking noise? So I'm the nosy there. And then mind you, my other nosy there, she was already outside. So I step on the porch. I'm like, what the fuck going on? So, you know, listening. They yelling. So the husband done kicked the fucking door in. And like I said, the young nigga was cool. So he explained everything like, oh, I didn't know this what it was. Me and her been fooling around. They've been fooling around for like 2 years. He was like, me and her been fooling around for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? She only moved in with me this last year. They've been living together for a year or whatever. And so the husband is just like getting everything together. But then the husband starts like knocking shit over because he's madder than the bitch. And I guess he didn't want to put his hands on her. So he just fucking this young nigga apartment up. And so the young nigga like, hey, I ain't got shit to do with shit. Y'all can take this shit out the fuck side. So when they do go outside, now him, his wife, the neighbor, and her husband, they arguing this shit outside in the front, like in the parking lot area. So I couldn't really hear what the fuck was going on there because the parking lot is in front of my shit. So I couldn't really hear what the fuck they were arguing about in the parking lot. But I can see the young nigga. And the young nigga is quietly putting this bitch shit outside. He's like very calm, cool, and collected, placing this bitch shit outside. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I guess the husband must have fucking pulled off and he left her ass and her shit outside or whatever. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And you know, I'm goofy, I'm silly, I'm talking shit. So I'm like, oh girl, this is cute. This is cute. What you got, girl? This is cute. And so she like, all right, because I guess the young nigga gonna put her out. So she like, hey, could you give me a ride to my husband's house when you taking your son to school? Can you give me a ride to your husband's house or to her husband's house so I can go over there? And I'm like, all right, bet. And then she gonna tell me, if you see the thing you want, you can have it. And I'm like, girl, no, I don't want nothing for real. Girl, why she handing me the fucking car? Girl, fucking boots. I said, you know what? I might could do something with these. And then she whipped these out. I said, well, you know what? I could tiptoe in these. I could tiptoe around my little pop minute. I'll tiptoe or something. And then she said, oh, I got a little bag. You say you want a little bag? You need a little bag? I said, what? I might need a little bag. So I said, you know what, girl? Hop in. Hop in. Because her husband's house ain't that far. And I'm going to tell y'all something. The God honest truth. We live in the fucking hood. I'm over here at her fucking husband's house. This shit is nice. I would have been with my motherfucking husband. This shit is motherfucking nice. So I'm over here sitting, y'all. I'm sitting. She told me to sit right here. And she said she either gonna have to come back outside and need to ride back over there, or she gonna come give me a little wave and she gonna let me know I can go ahead and put off. So I'm just waiting.
You have never heard a travel story quite like this one. Buckle up. So about 2 years ago, me and my best friends from college decided we were going to plan a trip to Spain. And without hesitation, I booked my flights. With that being said, at this time, I did in fact know that my passport was missing, but I decided that was a problem for later me. And about 2 months out from leaving for our trip, I decided that now's as good a time as any to call the passport agency and see what they could do for me. And the nice lady on the phone told me that I was fucked. And that my passport was not going to be ready in time or shipped to me in time. So I was going to have to book an in-person appointment to apply for a new passport in person. I'm like, that is awesome. On top of that being awesome, the best part is that you cannot book an appointment until the week that you are leaving the country. The week. And you also have to have proof that you're leaving the country. So good thing that I had a non-refundable flight. Keep in mind, the passport agency is open from 9 to 5. And they break at lunch. Those are working man hours. So my patient and amazing stepmother called the passport agency to make an appointment for me and waited on hold for God knows how long. Bless her soul. She texts me and she's like, hey Hannah, great news. They have an appointment for you in New York City. I'm like, that is so good because I live in North Carolina. And she's like, yep, and guess what? That's not the best part. It's the same day that you leave to go to Spain. I'm like, it doesn't get better than this, folks. So this threw a big fat fucking wrench in my plans, and I had to cancel my flights. As awful as it was, I was trying to look at the glass half full and think, okay, well, I can just go stay with my best friend in New York City, who's also going to Spain with me. And I can wake up early the next morning, go to the passport agency, get it done with, and then rebook a flight, and we can go to Spain together on her flight. It sucks because I lost that money, but it's gonna be fine, okay? About 3 days before I'm supposed to leave to go to New York City, I get an email from the passport agency and they're like, hey girl, don't forget about your appointment. If you want to go to Spain, be here bright and early so you can get in line because I know you leave the same day. And I need you lined up bright and early at our passport agency in Buffalo, New York. Buffalo, right on. Fucking Buffalo. Great. This is great. I had to cancel my New York City non-refundable flight. And yeah, I know you're probably thinking after all of this fucked upness, why didn't you get a refundable flight? Well, I thought surely nothing else could go wrong. Wrong. I get my new flight to Buffalo, New York booked, and the day that I'm supposed to leave, my stepmom is taking me to the airport, and she asked me which terminal so we could put it in the GPS. And so I'm looking at my email, and good thing it was Terminal 1. 1 month later, I had booked a flight to Buffalo, New York for the wrong date. So at this point, I'm in full-blown hysterics, and my stepmom is like, it's okay. She helps me book a flight for that day to Buffalo, New York. It's like $400. And I also had to get a hotel room, arrive in the beautiful city of Buffalo, New York. And I wake up the next morning, go to the passport agency. Everything is seamless. Everything is effortless. I get my passport. And it's great, right? I thought, finally, I'm gonna fucking get there. Oh, just you wait and see, girl. Just you wait and see, girl. Because I lined up at the passport agency at the ass crack of dawn, I had ample time before my flight was leaving from the Buffalo, New York airport. So I get to the airport and like, I'm noticing that my flight is likely gonna get delayed. And I'm like, fuck. So I go to the front desk, and as one does, and I'm like, I think my flight's gonna get delayed and I'm gonna miss my connecting flight. And she's like, oh, sorry, you're gonna have to call the operator because I can't help you here. What the fuck are you here for then? You know what I mean? Like, so I call and they're like, okay, good news for you is that we can rebook another flight to Buffalo, New York later in the day, and you should still be able to get there. I'm like, thank God. So they rebook it and they made the first flight a flight credit. This is important for later in the story, okay? So they rebook it, and guess what? Delayed. Delayed to the point that I'm missing my connecting flight yet again. Call the operator again. I'm like, hey girl, it's me again. I need help. More than you can provide for me at this point. And so she's like, bad news. We're not going to be able to get you to Madrid, Spain until 2 days after your expected arrival. And yeah, that sucks and all. Especially considering the fact that my friends were leaving Madrid, Spain to go to Ibiza 2 days later. I would miss the entire first leg of the fucking trip if I did not get on an airplane that fucking day. Okay? He's like, and I go, I'm like, oh my God. And she's like, the only thing I can tell you is that you're probably going to have to book with a different airline. I'm like, so she said, the lady at the front desk can probably help you do that. I'm like, great. So I go up there to her and I'm asking for help. And honestly, God bless this woman. She was so nice to me and she was an angel. And if she would have offered to rock me and pat my head, I would have let her, but she didn't. The woman on the phone is trying to get me my refund, but unfortunately, because I used it on the second flight as a flight credit, they were not going to be able to give me a full refund to buy a new plane ticket with a different airline. So the woman at the front desk is like talking to her, trying to figure it out to get me my refund. And I am like sobbing uncontrollably at this point. No other airlines leaving out of the Buffalo, New York airport that are going to get me there in time. Are we surprised? At this point, I wasn't. The woman at the front desk tells me, she's like, honey, it looks like there's some flights that can get you to Spain out of Toronto airport. Toronto, Canada. She's like, if you could get to the Toronto airport, it's only an hour and 45-minute drive. If you can get there, you can be in Spain at your expected arrival time. I'm like, I would kiss you on the mouth right now. Come here. Let me kiss you on the fucking mouth right now. She's still on the phone. She's still on the phone with homegirl trying to get me my refund back so I can book this flight in Canada. She looks at me dead in the face and she says, my shift's over. And this is as much as I can do for you. And I'm like, sobbing uncontrollably still. And I'm like, no, God, no. Please, God, no. Don't leave me, airport mommy. I'm just a 24-year-old little girl. Anyway, I get it figured out. Get my flight booked. I ended up getting another flight credit, but I couldn't fucking use it. So I am trying to book an Uber to get me to Toronto, Canada airport. And it is not letting me. And I'm like, what the fuck? I've been in an Uber that the drive was over an hour and a half. Like, I know that's not the issue. Oh yeah, no worries. The issue is actually that Ubers can't cross the border into Canada. I'm like, oh right, of course. Why didn't I think of that? Out of all the times I've tried to take an Uber into a different country, I should have known that. Duh. Do some research. Guess what does take you across the border? A Greyhound bus. Yay! Okay. And I can actually get to the Toronto airport on a Greyhound bus if I get to the bus station as soon as possible. Because I have absolutely no other options. I booked my $150 non-refundable Greyhound bus ticket from Buffalo, New York to Toronto Airport. I order my Uber from Buffalo Airport, the Greyhound bus station. We're chit-chatting because I'm sobbing uncontrollably still in his back seat. And he's like, so you're taking a Greyhound? Like, you can tell there's some hesitation for him to leave me at this bus station. The way that he looked at me when I got out of that car was like, good luck, soldier. May God be with you. Peace and blessings. Honest to God, I thought he was going to grab my hand and pray with me before I went in. And I could not understand why. That was until I walked in. I gasped audibly. And like, trust me, I knew that riding a Greyhound bus was not going to be a first class experience. But I did not expect for it to be like I was in a holding cell. People laying face down on the ground. There was a man actually in a verbal altercation with his reflection. Like in the corner, there was a cockroach and a rat playing rock, paper, scissors, and one was smoking a cigarette. And when I say that I have never been approached by so many strangers in my life, asking me if I was traveling alone, if I had a boyfriend, where I was going, I don't even get hit on that much by the crackheads at my local Exxon. It was crazy. It was like I was Beyonce and everyone in there was looking for love in this club with yours truly. So I called my dad and I said, I don't want you to worry, but I am in fact about to be kidnapped. So just keep an eye on my location, love. So in the midst of these predators, I am acknowledging the fact that the bus should be there by now. It's not. We should be boarding, but it's not. I am searching far and wide for someone to help me, and finally there's a woman at the desk, and I go up to her and I'm like, hey, like, I'm really pushing it to get to the Toronto airport on time. Like, what's this bus's track record with getting its pedestrians from point A to point B? She said, honey, I've been working here for 15 years, and if there's one thing I know is you're not making that flight. This bus ain't gonna get you there on time. Commence breakdown number 573. Just like, okay, but you're not gonna like the sound of this. There is something you can do. And I'm like, let me hear it. Give it to me, Rachel. Give it to me, Rachel. What you can do, because Ubers will not cross the border, is you can Uber to Niagara Falls. Just a 10-minute Uber from this bus station. And you can walk across the border, United States, to Canada. Catch an Uber in Canada, and they will take you to the airport. I said, come here. Come here. Hook her up. I order my Uber. The Uber takes me to none other than Niagara Falls. You would think that they would have a sign that says Canada this way, eh? Where did I leave off? Oh, yeah, Canada. So I go to Niagara Falls like I'm instructed. And suddenly it's me against the world again. Now, I'm not entirely sure what possessed me to believe that it would be very easy to find Niagara Falls. And when I say find Niagara Falls, I quite literally mean like put eyes on it. And I can hear it. I can hear the motherfucker. The lady at the Greyhound bus station told me to look for something called Rainbow Bridge. And that would get me to the entrance of Canada. I'm like having to ask people. I'm like, do y'all know, with my fucking suitcase in tow, I'm like, do y'all know where Rainbow Bridge is? People are giving me crazy fucking directions. Like, okay, you're gonna see a tree. I'm gonna take a right there. And then if you go like 17 steps northwest, then you'll see a bush. And you're gonna circle it 3 times. And then you're gonna wanna do the Dougie and hopscotch 7 steps to your left. And then you should be there. Come on, it's the middle of July and I have swamp ass. And I am walking over hell in half of Georgia to find this fucking waterfall. Picture this. Below me. Backpack on. Rolling around a fucking suitcase across Rainbow Bridge. I thought surely, because this woman thought of this solution, there will be other people in my shoes. There wasn't. I was the only motherfucker there with a suitcase. The only bitch on that bridge with a suitcase! And people were looking at me so crazy. People were looking at me sideways. I'm like, what the fuck does this bitch have a suitcase for? But the falls are beautiful in July, if you're wondering. So I get to Canada and I have to go through customs. Did you know you have to go through? I should have surely known that you had to go through customs, but it's not every day that you walk across the border. So I go in this little office and I'm immediately getting funny looks by the people who work there. I immediately was like, oh, they don't see this often. And I can tell that they're like, the fuck does this bitch have a suitcase for? Because, no, actually, like, the fuck does this bitch have a suitcase for? If only they knew. If only they fucking knew I had a fucking suitcase. And so they pull me to the side. And they begin what I consider interrogation. Yeah, you could call it that, sure. And they start hitting me with 50 questions. Like, why do you have a suitcase? Like, where are you going in Canada? Are you here visiting family? Are you here for a work trip? How long are you going to stay? I'm sensing a little bit of hostility, a little bit of confusion. So when met with adversity, make a little joke. And I'm like, oh my God, the falls are so beautiful. I love what you did with the place. A scenic office. They did not think I was funny. Not even a little bit. Not even. But I'm seeing other people around me go in and out. Stamp the fucking passport, ask a question or two, and they're in and out in no time. Not me. Not the bitch with the fucking suitcase. I'm eventually like, y'all, I don't want to be here as much as you evidently do not want me to be here. I was never meant to be here. Canada is not my target country at this very moment. It is quite literally a stepping stone, quite literally, on my way to Spain. I'm like, listen, buddy, Arthur is waiting for me in his Toyota Camry just across that barbed wire fence. I'm going straight to the Toronto airport, and I will be out of your hair in no time. And I would love to tell you all about it over a cup of coffee, but unfortunately, there's a Boeing 787 awaiting my arrival that leaves the ground in just 4 short hours. They granted me access. They're a lovely country. And as I'm walking out, the guy at the door is like, aviento. I'm like, oh my God, how cute of him showcasing his French heritage. Little did I know he was preparing me for what awaited me outside of those doors. And listen, I am the first to point out American ignorance, especially my own, but I do believe that I was failed by the American education system in more ways than one, to be so completely honest with you. I knew French Canadians existed, but I thought they were like kind of few and far between, or maybe it was just a fun party trick. However, what I did not know is that 22% of Canada's population speaks French as their primary language. Now, keep in mind, the area around Niagara Falls in Canada is not primarily French speaking, but on that particular day, everyone within my field of vision was. And it made it particularly difficult to find my Uber. After about 30 minutes, beaucoup de confusion, I was finally safe and sound in Arthur's Toyota Camry. Toronto Airport, here I come. And I'm not sure if it was the scream cry to my mother that he overheard that made him go Mach 50 to the airport, but he was also playing Drake, and I felt really immersed in their culture. I don't know if it's divine intervention or the spirit of Dale Earnhardt and my sweet Arthur, but we finally make it to the airport with, guess what, 2 hours to spare before my flight is supposed to board. Out of the Uber, and I blow Arthur a kiss. I walk inside and see the longest TSA line that I've ever seen in my adult life. And suddenly 2 hours felt like 2 fucking minutes. I'm thinking like maybe I should call Arthur back and ask him to come inside and hold me, or maybe take me back to Niagara Falls and I'll try my luck in the United States again. I don't know. I'm getting closer and closer to the front, and at this point I have 30 minutes until my flight boards. And to my dismay, I see them handing out the little plastic bags. I'm no stranger to the little plastic bag. The little dumbass, stupid ass dumbass, but typically, if you're lucky, they won't enforce it to this extent. But this guy must have been having a really shitty day, much like myself. When I get up there to him, he hands it to me and takes out his megaphone. It's like, hey, stupid bitch, put all of your fucking liquids in this little plastic bag, the smallest plastic bag you've ever seen in your fucking life. And of course, they don't give you the damn plastic bag until you get up there, and there's about 7,036,000 people behind you, and they're looking at you like, girl, put the shit in the bag. You heard the man. I've got a flight to catch. It's making my blood pressure high again. And like my upper lip is sweating. I can be seen trying to shove my Charlotte Tilbury and my Morphe setting spray in this little fucking plastic bag. Maybe that will work for some, but it's not going to work for me. It's just not my journey. So I said, sir, what if I can't fit everything in this plastic bag? He said, oh, then you're just going to have to throw it away, you stupid bitch. Unfortunately, after I've dropped about $1,800 on flights that I never even boarded or even actually laid eyes on, I don't necessarily have Sephora money. He finds an ounce of kindness in his heart, and he walks up to me and he says, ma'am, you know, if you can't fit it all in the plastic bag, kind of holding up the line here, you can take your happy ass on over to that front desk and check it. And I don't know what came over me. I definitely wasn't thinking straight, but in the moment, that seemed like a good idea. And he tells me, you're going to have to wait in line again. I said, it wouldn't be the first time, buddy. So I get out of line and I sprint. Usain Bolt, that baggage drop. And this woman greets me and she says, bonjour. She says, here to drop off a bag? And I said, yeah. She said, oh, actually that flight? You want it for that flight? Too bad, so fucking sad, because guess what? We stopped doing that 10 minutes ago. Thank you, kind lady. Okay. Thanks. Head hung in shame, because what a dumbass idea that was to get out of line. And I get a notification on my phone from my airline. Guess what? It said, God's looking out for you, you crazy girl. Your flight has been delayed 30 minutes. And you have enough time to wait in that stupid ass TSA line again. I still was going to have to make the executive decision as to what makeup was going with me on my journey to Spain and what was staying in the trash can in the Toronto airport. I'm back at the front, and it's the same motherfucker. And he's looking at me, and he's giggling, wasn't actually giggling, but like I know he was probably giggling at my weakness and my tears. At this point, I wasn't medicated yet. Like I wasn't on Zoloft. Like it was really bad. And he's laughing his ass off and like pointing and taking pictures. And he grabs the bag. I said, I'm still sobbing. And I'm like, I don't need the fucking bag. Give the bag. I don't need the bag. I'm just going to throw it all away. I don't even give a shit. Everybody around me's like, and so, you know, like when you put your bag on the conveyor belt, if there's something in it that you can't have, it'll go to the left and it'll turn red and they'll like check it or whatever. And then if it's fine, it'll go through and be green and you can get it on the other side. So I plop my bag up there and I send it through. Guess what? Green. I'm looking around. I'm thinking, I hope nobody saw that. Nobody saw my absolute fucking meltdown. I hope Billy at the fucking turntable isn't watching this and sends it away. What do I do? Like, am I gonna get arrested? I'm gonna be on the no-fly list? Like, is this illegal? I don't know. I've never grabbed that bag off of that conveyor belt so fast. I didn't even have my shoes on. I had one shoe on and I took off running. My mind said, bitch, get your Morphe off that table and get your ass gone. Get to that gate and don't look back. Don't look back. And so I took off. I did not turn around to look back. I just kept going. I kept going. Guess what? I got to my gate with like 5 minutes to spare. And besties, I did make it to Spain. And I had so much fun that genuinely it makes this story a funny haha story when it was not a very fucking funny haha story in the moment. And while all the odds were against me, I made it. My travel story home? That's a whole nother story.
I inadvertently may have screwed my ex financially. Backstory, my ex and I have been together for 4 years and we broke up this past January. Our breakup was amicable. We were simply on different paths in life. But it crushed me emotionally because it was out of the blue. We lived together for 3.5 years, moved across the country together, and were financially intertwined. All these factors, so you can imagine I believed we were in it for the long haul. But he didn't feel the same way. It's been about 6 months since our split. We have not spoken since April. We stayed amicable and cordial for the first couple of months, so we still talked. I moved out in February. One of the conversations we had was about his car insurance, and I asked if he can remove me from his policy by the end of May. Even though having me on his policy was keeping his insurance rates low. We live in Southern California, so those rates are stupid high and you do what you can do to get a good price. I also asked that he start making payments to me by July, current month, because he owes me money for his part of our move from the East Coast. A down payment for his BMW that he got his insurance policy on, and our entire trip to his sister's wedding weekend in a different state, because he was not able to pay for it at the time and didn't want to use his credit card. At the time, he agreed. Our fallout started when he asked me to help him move out of the apartment we shared to one across town where he will share with a roommate to alleviate the financial burden on him. I made 2.5 times more than him financially. I was okay. And I refused. It genuinely hurt me that he would ask me for anything, considering he was the one who broke up with me and I had already felt like I was overextending myself by even keeping things amicable when I was deeply hurt by it all. I expressed that clearly. He then blocked me for when I told him that he didn't deserve me as a friend, and that was that. It took months of healing from a broken heart, but I'm in a good place emotionally now. Now it's July. I have not heard from him, nor do I want to. He has not paid me back the money he owes, but I know his financial situation isn't great. It crossed my mind to see if I had been removed from his car insurance policy. I called the company, and sure enough, I was still on there. I felt a little betrayed, but I wasn't shocked. Again, insurance rates where we live are insane, so I get why he didn't do it. But I asked for the removal by the end of May in our conversation. I asked for my removal, and turns out his insurance on his BMW went up by $200. I no longer have financial ties with him, and he's been blocked across my social media and my phone. If I see the money, I see it. If not, that was an expensive lesson. His Netflix is still signed into my TV. I won't use it, but I hope he enjoys his shows in Mandarin before logging off for the last time.